Whatever they say has no relevance. Okay, it's just them some scheming, lying, manipulating people. I'm cool with it. We never talk ever again in life, 'cause I ain't got time for that. You got a couple of weirdos in this crowd. So, I want you to be like one. Please don't be a no boy. I think sometimes they be forgetting who they playing with. You know, coming out here to Atlanta, I had my blunders on. But I was warned by my friend back in New York about Rasheeda Kirk. They ain't right. I was warned. The night was supposed to be just another fiery Love and Hip Hop Atlanta taping. Though, no one cast crew or fans expected Mendeecees to be the one who flipped the entire season upside down. Known for his calm demeanor and ability to keep the peace, he stunned everyone when he suddenly stood up and dropped a bombshell so explosive it left Rasheeda in tears and Kurt completely speechless. Gasps echoed across the set. Cast members jumped from their seats, and within minutes, clips of the moment began flooding social media. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok couldn't keep up as hashtags exploded and fans demanded answers. What exactly did Mendeecees reveal? Why did it hit Rasheeda Kirk so hard? And how did one shocking confession turn the entire internet against them in seconds? Buckle up, because this bombshell didn't just shake the cast, it shook the entire culture love. And Hip Hop Atlanta has always been a battlefield of broken promises, messy truths, and shocking reveals. But when it comes to long-standing chaos, okay, nobody embodies it more than Rasheeda and Kirk Frost. Their marriage has been tested in front of millions of viewers season after season. Cheating scandals, side babies, business betrayals. Kirk's name has practically become a synonym for unfaithful husband, while Rasheeda has become the image of a woman who forgives but never forgets. Fans have seen her cry through heartbreak, stand by Kirk despite humiliation, and fight to rebuild her marriage, only for new cracks to form again and again. And that's why what happened this season felt so different. It wasn't just another rumor about Kirk creeping, or Rasheeda confronting him with tears in her eyes. This time the bombshell didn't come from Rasheeda, didn't come from Jasmine Washington, the infamous other woman whose name still makes fans roll their eyes. No, this time the truth was dropped by someone nobody expected. Mendeecees Harris. For years, Mendeecees has been the calm one. While others screamed, flipped tables, and stormed off set, he was a man who kept his cool. Fans saw him hold Yandy down through prison time, through rumors of infidelity, and through the pressure of raising a blended family on camera. Sure, his relationship wasn't spotless, but compared to Kirk's endless scandals, Mendeecees looked like a saint. He wasn't the guy you expected to pull out receipts or expose someone else's business. That's exactly why his sudden decision to speak up left the entire cast in shock. According to insiders, attention had been bubbling long before the cameras captured the explosion. Behind the scenes, whispers floated around that Mendeecees had seen something or heard something that directly implicated Kirk, and by extension Rasheeda. Some claimed it was about money-shady business moves that would embarrass Rasheeda if exposed. Others swore it had to do with another secret baby, an even more devastating blow to a marriage that had already been rocked by infidelity. Whatever the truth was, Mendeecees wasn't willing to stay quiet anymore. Fans had already noticed the tension in earlier episodes. At one dinner scene, when Kirk tried to smooth over a joke about keeping his phone locked, the camera caught Mendeecees shooting him a look so sharp, it practically sliced the screen. On social media, fans clipped the moment, tweeting things like, "Menace knows something. I can see it in his face." Another moment came during a poolside scene in Cabo, where Rasheeda and Kirk laughed off rumors. But Yandi looked nervous, glancing at her husband, like she knew he was sitting on a truth too heavy to keep. By the time the reunion-style taping rolled around, the stage was set. Rasheeda and Kirk came in projecting strength, dressed sharp, holding hands like they were untouchable. Yandi sat poised beside Mendeecees, expecting him to play his usual role of protector and mediator. Tamar, Spice, Erica, and Carly Redfield, the seats ready for fireworks, but not knowing where the first spark would come from. The producers, always hungry for ratings, kept the cameras rolling from the very first second. What nobody anticipated was Mendeecees reaching his breaking point, when the conversation turned to loyalty and honesty in relationships. Rasheeda began to speak about how hard she'd worked to rebuild her marriage after Kirk's betrayals. She praised herself for being a strong woman, for not letting outsiders destroy what she had built. Kirk nodded along silently, his face expressionless. The room was quiet, almost too quiet, until Mendeecees suddenly leaned forward, his tone low but steady. "See, the problem is," he said, "y'all sitting here acting like the worst is behind you. But the truth is, there's things out here that ain't been said yet. And once they do come out, it won't just be Kirk in the hot seat. It's going to be Rasheeda too." The entire cast froze. Rasheeda's smile fell instantly. Kirk's eyes darted around nervously. And Yandi's hand instinctively shot out to grab her husband's arm, whispering, "What are you doing?" The moment was electric. This wasn't Kirk lying. This wasn't Rasheeda crying. This was Mendeecees, the man nobody expected to stir the pot, standing up and hinting at a bombshell so big it could destroy not only Kirk's reputation, but Rasheeda's carefully protected image. The whispers backstage had been true. Mendeecees had something, and this time he wasn't staying silent. The room was heavy with tension after Mendeecees' first cryptic jab. The cast sat frozen, eyes darting back and forth, waiting for someone to break the silence. Rasheeda shifted uncomfortably in her seat, trying to gather herself. She had been through public scandals before, but this was different. This wasn't coming from a gossip blog, or a bitter ex, or even Jasmine Washington. It was coming from Mendeecees, a man known for keeping his mouth shut. "Hold up, what you mean by that?" Rasheeda demanded, her voice louder than she intended. Her tone wasn't just offensive, it was panicked. She needed answers, and she needed them fast. Mendeecees leaned forward, his eyes locked on hers. "I mean exactly what I said," he replied calmly, though the weight in his words made everyone at the table lean in closer. "Y'all keep playing house for the cameras, but the reality is, you've been hiding things, just like Kirk. And I ain't about to sit here and pretend like I don't know." Gasps shot across the room. Tamer's jaw dropped. Carly Red's eyes lit up with that mischievous spark she always gets when chaos is about to unfold, and Spice clapped her hands together like she had just bought front row tickets to the best show in town. Rasheeda's face flushed red. "Excuse me, what the hell are you trying to say about me?" But before she could press him further, Kirk tried to intervene. "Man, don't bring my wife into this," Kirk said, his voice tense, his hands gripping the table. "If you've got something to say about me, say it, but don't disrespect Rasheeda." Mendeecees snapped his head toward Kirk, his calm mask cracking just enough to let the anger seep through. "That's the problem right there. Every time you get caught, you hide behind Rasheeda. You let her take the bullets while you stay quiet. But I'm telling you right now, this time it ain't just about you. This time, the truth gone hit both of y'all. The room erupted. Tamar covered her mouth, whispering, "Oh my God." Eric Mina jumped in immediately, shouting, "What truth? What receipt you got? You can't just drop that and stay quiet." The camera zoomed in on Rasheeda, whose lip trembled as she tried to hold her composure. She looked at Yandi, hoping for some kind of ally. But Yandi sat frozen, her eyes wide, clearly blindsided by her own husband's sudden attack. "Don't drag me into your mess." Rasheeda snapped, her voice breaking. "I don't know what you think you saw, Mendes, but don't you dare sit here and try to embarrass me in front of everybody." But Mendes didn't back down. He pushed his chair back, leaning across the table, his voice low but sharp. "Embarrass you? Rasheeda, you already embarrassed yourself by covering for him again. I ain't gotta lie. I've seen the calls. I've seen the messages. And I've heard the whispers from people who got no reason to protect Kirk. And the way your name pop up, it tells me you knew that line was a dagger." Rasheeda slammed her hand on the table, standing up with tears welling in her eyes. "You out of line. You don't know what you're talking about." Shay screamed, her voice echoing across the set. The cast went wild. Spy shouted, "Lud, have mercy. This is madness." Carly Red egged it on. "Say it, Mendeecees. Drop the bomb." Tamar leaned back, smirking, enjoying the drama as if she had orchestrated it herself. And Kirk, he sat in silence, his head bowed, his hands clasped, his body stiff. That silence screamed guilt louder than any words could. Fans watching at home would later say Kirk's stillness looked like a man caught red-handed, a man with no defense left. "See, that's what I'm talking about," Mendeecees said, pointing straight at Kirk. "Every time the truth come out, you sit there quiet and let Rasheeda fight your battles. But not this time. I'm not letting you drag her down with you. Y'all both been playing games, and it's time people see it for what it is." The producers didn't cut the cameras. They knew they had television gold. The cast voices overlapped in screams, some shouting at Mendes to spill everything, others yelling at him to stop before things went too far. Rasheeda sobbed, shaking her head while Kirk stayed silent, his eyes glued to the table. And just like that, the confrontation had escalated. The man who never stirred drama had just blown the door open on one of the longest-running marriages in the franchise. But this was just the beginning. Mendeecees hadn't even dropped the full bombshell yet. The tension was already unbearable. But what came next sent the entire set into pandemonium. Mendeecees, who had been holding back piece by piece, finally decided he had nothing left to lose. He wasn't just hinting anymore. He was about to drop the kind of revelation that changes a franchise forever. "You want to act like you the victim, Rasheeda," he began, his voice rising just enough to cut through the shouting in the room. "But you've been covering for this man for years. And don't sit here and lie like you don't know what I'm talking about. 'Cause I've seen the receipts. I've seen the calls. I've seen the proof." The table erupted. Erica Mina jumped up, pointing at Mendeecees' show. "It don't just talk show, it tea." Tamar, sipping her wine calmly, smirked and said, "Oh, this is the part I've been waiting for." Carly Red clutched her pearls like it was the season finale. Mendes pulled his phone from his pocket, slowly unlocking it as the camera zoomed in. The cast leaned forward, their eyes glued to the glowing screen. Yandi whispered frantically, "Don't do this, Mendes! Please don't do this." But it was too late. He had made up his mind. On his phone were screen and messages between Kirk and a woman whose name producers blurred out for broadcast. But it wasn't just Kirk's name and the threads. There were notes, reminders, and cryptic little confirmations that Rasheeda herself had been aware of what was going on. Gasps exploded like fireworks. Spice slammed her hand on the table. "My end say it ain't so." Kara screamed, not Rasheeda knowing all along. Rasheeda's face crumbled. She clutched her chest, her eyes wide, tears spilling instantly. "That's not what it looks like," she shouted, her voice shaking. But the damage was done. The cast had seen enough to believe Mendeecees' story. Kirk tried to intervene, his voice finally breaking the silence. "This is out of context. You can't sit here and throw out private messages without explaining." But the cast drowned him out, screaming out of context again. Fans would later freeze frame the blurred screenshots online, speculating endlessly about the woman's identity and Rasheeda's alleged involvement. Memes exploded. One viral TikTok labeled Rasheeda as the real cover-up queen, while another called Kirk Atlanta's fertility king. Back on set, Yandi sobbed quietly, torn between supporting her husband and distancing herself from not the mess he'd just unleashed. Tamar, meanwhile, leaned across the table and fired the final shot. "See, I told y'all loyalty don't live here no more. Everybody dirty, everybody." Security rushed in as the room descended into chaos. Rasheeda screaming, Kirk shouting, Erica egging it on, and Mendeecees refusing to put his phone away. Producers begged him to stop, but his voice rose above it all. "Y'all wanted the truth. Now you got it. It ain't just Kirk. Rasheeda, your hands ain't clean either." The bombshell had officially been dropped. Rasheeda collapsed in tears. Kirk stared blankly at the floor, and the entire cast looked like they had just witnessed the end of an era. And the fans, they weren't ready for what came next. The moment Mendeecees laid those receipts on the table, the internet was already on fire. Clips leaked within minutes. Cast members' reactions, Rasheeda's tears, Kirk's silence, all captured on shaky fan-recorded footage that spread like wildfire. By the time the official episode promo aired, the bombshell had already taken on a life of its own. On Twitter, the hashtags Mendeecees bombshell, Chocks Kirk exposed, and Issa shook dominated the trending list. One fan tweeted, "We all knew Kirk had another scandal in him, but seeing Mendeecees drop the hammer, that was poetry." Another added, "Rasheeda crying while Kirk stayed silent tells you everything." Memes began flooding timelines. One viral post showed Kirk sitting silently with the caption, "When you realize you can't cheat in peace anymore." Instagram blogs like The Shade Room and Hollywood Unlocked couldn't post fast enough. Sir's post read, "Menace ain't holding back drops receipts on Kirk and Rasheeda's marriage." Social media in chaos. Who y'all believe? Comments poured in by the thousands, with fans divided between sympathy for Rasheeda and applause for Mendeecees. Hollywood Unlocked went further, claiming exclusive insider leaks suggested the receipts involved both financial and personal betrayal. TikTok, of course, turned it into a spectacle. Users stitched the viral clip with dramatic music, slow-motion edits, and text overlays, like when the calmest man in the room finally snaps. One video racked up over 4 million views in 24 hours, showing men slamming the table, followed by Rasheeda's breakdown. Another fan edit cut together Kirk's past scandals, with the current receipts captioned, "History doesn't repeat, it drags." But it wasn't just fans. Cast members and celebrities jumped in too. Spice went live shaking her head. "Me tell you knew already. The drama this season is bigger than anything before. And trust me, what y'all saw is just the surface. Erica Mena tweeted bluntly, "Mendeecees did what everyone else was too scared to do. Speak the truth." Carly read through shade in her own way, posting a cryptic story. Receipts always find the light. Even Tamar, who wasn't the one dropping this particular bomb, reposted the clip with laughing emojis and the caption, "When you thought it was quiet, but boom." Fans accused her of fanning the flames, but Tamar thrived on the attention. The industry at large couldn't ignore it either. That ran a headlines flips. The script exposes Kirk and Rasheeda on national TV. Essence published an opt-ask, asking, "Why do we keep forgiving Kirk Frost?" Lipstick Alley had entire threads dedicated to dissecting every detail of the receipts, with users debating whether Rasheeda was complicit or simply trapped in a toxic cycle. And then came the so-called secondary leaks. A gossip blogger posted what they claimed were additional screenshots showing Kirk coordinating quiet payments to keep someone off his back. Another alleged that Rasheeda knew about these dealings, but chose silence to protect their brand. None of it was verified, but in the court of public opinion, the damage was already done. Fans turned brutal. Rasheeda's Instagram comments filled with heartbreak emojis and questions like, "Sis, why do you keep defending him? Blink twice if you need help." Meanwhile, Kirk's page was flooded with clown emojis, firestorms of comments calling him Atlanta's biggest liar, and one viral remark. At this point, Kirk having a side scandal is like taxes guaranteed. Every year, Mendeecees ironically walked away from the chaos, looking like a hero to many. His own Instagram was flooded with praise. Finally, someone spoke up. "We needed this bombshell." The calmest man turned savage, and I stand. But some accused him of being messy, asking why he waited until now to drop receipts. One commenter wrote, "Why now? Did you do it for ratings or to really help Rasheeda?" Podcasts and YouTube channels dedicated entire episodes to the fallout. Some praised Mendeecees for exposing a toxic cycle that had dragged on for years. Others suggested producers orchestrated the entire moment to reignite interest in the Frost storyline. Mona Scott stayed 10 steps ahead. One podcaster said she knew this bombshell would break the internet. Even outside hip-hop circles, mainstream celebrities took notice. Cardi B liked and commented on a Shade Room post saying, "Chili, they need therapy, not reality TV." Candy Burr from Real Housewives tweeted, "Lord, this is why I keep my business to myself. Receipts don't lie." The story had officially jumped beyond the love and hip-hop bubble and into broader pop culture. And just when it seemed the frenzy might slow down, Rasheeda herself posted on Instagram. A black screen, white text, 3 words, "I'm not done." Within minutes, fans were speculating again. Was she about to drop her own receipts? Was she gearing up to clap back at Mendeecees? Or was it a sign that the Frost marriage was finally reaching its breaking point? The public wasn't just watching anymore. They were invested, picking sides, demanding the next chapter. And everyone knew the next episode would have to deliver even more. Just when fans thought the dust was settling, the drama took a darker, more twisted turn. Mendeecees' bombshell had already ripped through Rasheeda and Kirk's marriage. But insiders began hinting that what he revealed wasn't even the full story. There was more, much more, and this time it pointed straight back to Rasheeda herself. In the days after the episode, a new round of exclusive leaks hit the internet. Screenshots began circulating that allegedly showed Rasheeda involved in the very scandal Mendeecees had exposed. According to these leaks, she wasn't just a victim of Kirk's behavior. She may have known all along. Some fans even speculated she helped bury evidence to protect their family brand. The narrative flipped instantly. Suddenly, Rasheeda wasn't just the crying wife. She was part of the cover-up. Blogs exploded with headlines like, "Did Rasheeda protect Kirk's secret?" And Mendeecees hints, "Frost marriage has more skeletons than we thought." A gossip podcast even claimed producers were sitting on footage of Rasheeda, admitting she didn't want the truth to ruin her empire. Whether it was real or just reality TV smoke and mirrors didn't matter. Fans were already convinced the cast added fuel to the fire. Spice tweeted cryptically, "A woman will hide a man's truth longer than he can." Erica Mena posted a photo of herself sipping wine with the caption, "Receipts don't burn, they just wait." And Tamar, she went live and said with a smirk, "Y'all ain't ready for the rest." Ready for the rest? On set, Rasheeda was furious. Producers captured her storming backstage, screaming, "They're not about to make me look like the bad guy. Kirk did this, not me." But Kirk once again sat in silence, his refusal to speak, only fueling suspicions that Mendeecees' receipts had cracked open something much bigger than anyone realized. And then Mendeecees dropped one more chilling line in a confessional. "This ain't just about Kirk. This ain't just about Rasheeda. When the truth comes out, a lot of people in this circle gon' have to face themselves." The bombshell wasn't over, it was spreading. And the next episode promised to drag more names into the scandal than anyone expected. The set looked like a war zone. Rasheeda was sobbing uncontrollably, her makeup straying at producers, that she was done being humiliated. Kirk sat in silence, refusing to defend himself. His head hung low, like a man waiting for a sentence to be read. The cast was split, half comforting Rasheeda, half pressing Mendeecees to spill more. But the most chilling moment came when Mendeecees leaned back in his chair, calm as ever, and said, "Y'all think this is just about Kirk? This bombshell touches more than just him. When the rest comes out, you'll see who's really been hiding what." The room fell into chaos again. Tamar gasped, Erica shouted, "What?" And Spice clutched her wig like it was about to fly off. Rasheeda pointed a trembling finger at Mendeecees, yelling, "You will not drag me down with your lies." But the damage was done. The implication was clear. This wasn't just Kirk's scandal was bigger. The producers knew they had struck gold. The episode ended with a brutal teaser, a blurred screenshot of even more receipts, a flash of Jasmine Washington walking into the studio, and Rasheeda screaming, "If you think I'm staying quiet, you got another thing coming." The cliffhanger left fans breathless. What else did Mendeecees know? And who else was about to be exposed? And that's where the episode cut off, leaving the entire cast shattered and social media in pure chaos. Mendeecees had just dropped a bombshell that not only cracked Kirk and Rasheeda's marriage wide open, but hinted that even more devastating secrets were waiting to come to light. The usually calm and reserved Mendeecees had flipped the script, proving that when he speaks, the whole room listens and the whole internet explodes. Now the questions are louder than ever. Did Rasheeda really know about Kirk's betrayals this whole time? And did she choose silence to protect their image? Was Mendeecees motivated by truth or by drama? Most importantly, who else's name is buried in those receipts that producers teased at the end? Because if what insiders are saying is true, this scandal could shake the entire cast. It's pulling in names nobody expected. Fans are already divided. Some are praising Mendeecees as the hero who finally called out Kirk after years of mess, Others say he crossed the line by dragging Rasheeda into it, turning her pain into entertainment. Meanwhile, Kirk's silence speaks volumes, and Rasheeda's tears may be hiding something far darker than heartbreak. One thing's for sure, this isn't over. The reunion promises to reveal more. Jasmine Washington's surprise entrance could flip everything upside down, and the next receipts may destroy more than just a marriage. They might destroy friendships, alliances, and even entire careers. So, what do you think? Was Mendeecees brave for exposing the truth? Or messy for airing it this way? Is Rasheeda the victim, or part of the cover-up? And when the next bombshell drops, whose reputation will survive the fallout? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button. Share this video with your crew. And make sure you subscribe, because the next chapter in this scandal is going to be even bigger than this one. Stay tuned.